coming, sing along my name, baby. Yeah, true love do exist, and that's what I'm getting from my queen. And I know they gonna say story. This time we're gonna make them free. I say bang, I'm loving your outing. Njanja na kita kikingi simga. God just know that it's nothing. Rather ya mapenzi and trusting woman. She be my woman. She be my woman. She be my woman. She be my woman. Oh, no. She be. Oh. I know you love me. I know you like me. Baby, I know you want me. So let me put a ring on your finger. Eh. I say woman.
Kama ndege wangani, samaki wa majini, nami Mungu kanipa pa kukaa kando yako. Nina furaha na amani, mapenzi ya dhati unayonipa sijawahi ona. And I need you, kifo cha mende chali, body to body, Monday to Monday. And I need you, body to body, Monday to Monday. Oh baby, do me like it's my birthday. I've been around the world but never seen such kind of love. Such kind of love. Such kind of love.
I've been around the world but never seen such kind of love. Such kind of love. Such kind of love. Oh baby.
Vicky Bandes.
Elewa wewe wangu wa moyoni, ulivyojaza ndipo moni, hakika mwengine sioni. Elewa wewe wangu wa moyoni, ulivyojaza ndipo moni, hakika mwengine sioni. Zawadi wewe wa thamani, kanipa Maulana. Oh Maulana, wewe zawadi, wewe wa thamani, kanipa Maulana. Oh Maulana, and I need you before jamende chali, body to body, body to body. And I need you, body to body, Monday to Monday. I'ma do you like it's your birthday.
I've been around the world but never seen such kind of love. Such kind of love. Such kind of love.
I've been around the world but never seen such kind of love.
Such
kind of love.
Such
Kind of love. Oh baby. Oh baby. Oh baby. Oh baby.
Pawa Radio. And Pawa up.
Some say a fool never changed his mind. Well, maybe, baby, I'm a fool for you. Mapenzi kipofu, kipenda maovu, huoni. Oh, love is blind, never seemed so true. When I'm broke, natumianga bro, please call me. akipiga naomba do, mbona kuna message inajitumanga send me money. To cut a long story short, yo vumilia na mimi, please don't leave me, don't let the money fool you, sponsors just wanna use you. Namwambia mtoto wa mama siharibike, ananishoni biashara tu, na siwezi mshibisha na panganga tu, na mwezi ukiisha sina ujanja, na renti kibishwa wanga blanda. Oh baby, kwa nami wakati sina, leo sina kitu, kesho nitafanikiwa, na nikibarikiwa ahadi yangu ni sitasahau mali imetoka nawe. Baby, kwa nami wakati sina, leo sina kitu, kesho nitafanikiwa, na nikibarikiwa ahadi yangu ni sitasahau mali imetoka nawe. Baby, only you baby, you're my only one, my only one. Girl, I wanna take you to my mama, show her you're the one for me. I'll never ever leave you, oh believe me when I say you will forever be my queen. Yule nalana ye kwa dhiki, mtalana ye kwa faraja, ahadi yangu ndio hiyo. Kama pamoja tumelia, tutacheka pamoja. Wow, vumilia na mimi, please don't leave me, don't let the money fool you, sponsors just wanna use you. Mtoto wa mama usiharibike, yeah. Oh baby, kwa nami wakati sina, leo sina kitu, kesho nitafanikiwa, na nikibarikiwa ahadi yangu ni sitasahau mali imetoka nawe. Baby, kwa nami wakati sina, leo sina kitu, kesho nitafanikiwa, na nikibarikiwa ahadi yangu ni sitasahau mali imetoka na wewe. Yeah, mali nimetoka na wewe. Yeah. Okay, sana ichiza kabubu, baby no more talk, just do. When time kama buyu, utaikwa chini uko juu, forever be my only one. Tukiachana itaniuma na joke kuna niga na ngoja nichome aruke ndani ka super sub. Usiache it happen, shikilie kasiri, ki make it in life then kushikilie pia mimi. You make me whole baby, don't let me go, stay beside me. You make me complete, how will my heart beat without you? Baby, kwa nami wakati sina, leo sina kitu, kesho nitafanikiwa, na nikibarikiwa ahadi yangu ni sitasahau mali imetoka nawe. Baby, kwa nami wakati sina, leo sina kitu, kesho nitafanikiwa, na nikibarikiwa ahadi yangu ni sitasahau mali imetoka na wewe.
Pawa Radio. Tune in and power up.
tunashikilia pressure, hatujui kama tutaonana tena.
Pawa Radio. Tune in and power up.
A very good morning to you wherever you are tuning in from. This is the Power Morning Drive. My name is Wanyoike and I'm your host for today. And I'm not alone in studio. I am joined by Mr. David Karani. Good morning, Mr. David.
Good morning, too.
You can let us know who you are. Yes, kindly introduce yourself so that our audience gets to know you.
As you said, my name's David Karani.
Yes.
I'm a human rights defender, and I'm also the chair of the Association of Parents with Children with Special Needs. But I'm mostly in the field of inclusion.
Yes.
HRDs, we do everything.
You do everything.
We do everything. As long as it's a human rights violation,
you're there.
Or we feel like this is something that can be done, more should be done to enhance the lives of the common mwananchi. We do.
Yes. So that's what you are about.
Yes.
Awesome. So this is Power Morning Drive. You remember you can get in touch with us on our social media platforms. That is at Power Radio on Instagram, on Twitter, and on TikTok. And you can also catch this live broadcast from our website at www.power254.org, as well as on our YouTube channel. That is at Power Radio. Yes. So today we have Mr. David Karani in studio because we shall be talking about centering PWDs, or rather persons living with disabilities, in the conversation of inclusion and their human rights. But for now, let's get into some music and we will see you with the international and local news roundup. Keep it right here on Power Morning Drive.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Nashangana hizi pesa, nilijikuta tu kivyangu, eti mwanzoni ulinipenda, akabisha shetani huku kwetu la kimono kuniambia, yasiri nichulie mitandani, ukweli ukaukimbia, eti musika ndo shetani, amani kiki unatafutia, ndo maombi yangu moyoni, ya unishobes na ujaniambia, nisijitasi akilini. Ona tulianza bila mapeni, na leo tuna magari. Nimekosa nini jameni? Sulitakalie maarufu, wape story magazeti, matusi pande mbili, kipenzi cha watu jameni, walitupenda sote wawili, ila Lola yamemwagika haya zoleki. Lola yamemwagika haya zoleki. Lola yamemwagika ba.
Lola, sasa umeniachana nani? Lola, rudi kwangu mimi. Lola, sasa umeniachana nani mama yo? Lola, rudi kwangu mimi. Nimeumbuka, sina hata haja kukutazama kwenye sura niloyaficha, Mungu moyoni yote unayajua. Naona aibu mpaka kwa marafiki zangu, imekuwa chungu kwa tamaa zangu. Nadia ulinipendaga na mapenzi yalinoga, mindo nilikumwaga na kuomba msamaha wangu mama. Basi usiniadhibu kwa kosa, tayari nimekubali, acha kunihusudu kila mahali ni mimi mitandaoni, kugombana sio suluhisho mama. Tusizidi kuvunja mwiko mama wa mapenzi yetu mimi na wewe. Lola, sasa unaniachana nani? Lola, rudi kwangu mimi. Lola, sasa unaniachana nani mama yo? Lola, rudi kwangu mimi mama yo. Lola, yamemwagika haya zoleki. Lola, Lola, Lola,
Umefanya pombe kuwa pacha wangu, ukichani mawazo kichwani mwangu. Unajua nakupenda wewe. Naja wewe, nakupenda wewe.
Pawa Radio. Tune in and power up.
All right, fading out, that is Lola by Masauti and the African pop star Nadia Mukami, and it's playing right here on Power Radio. My name is Wanyoike, and this is the Power Morning Drive. Now, I'm joined in studio today by human rights defender Mr. David Karani, and we want to get into some local and international news roundup. Now, the Education Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Ezekiel Mashogu, has, in a statement today, said that schools are not going to be opened when the schools were slated to be opened today, but they have extended the reopening of schools, until 6th of May, to give way, because of some schools have been adversely affected by the flood situation. I don't know what you make of this, Mr. Karani.
To me, it's I'm just wondering.
Yes.
Do you have a government? Or do you have people who are just jokers? A communique was released at 1 a.m. in the morning.
1 a.m. That's
seriously
true. Facts.
Is this the kind of government we are like? Is this the kind of communication? This is how communication is done in government.
And it has caused a lot of confusion.
It has caused a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
You can imagine their parents who had already allowed their children to go to school. Their schools that open on a Sunday. They're actually at 1 a.m.
Yeah,
most parents are asleep.
Yeah,
most children are asleep.
Kwanza, they are tired from the shopping of back to school.
Yeah, most people are asleep. The inconvenience that this government is actually causing.
Yes,
I wish they had all the statistics. They had all the time.
Yeah,
people waited for the 9 o'clock news to hear of any communication from government.
That's right.
They did not do anything.
Yes,
people have been calling out.
Yeah.
We saw Azimio leaders telling government to actually postpone. Even civil society, some of the people in civil society have been telling government, kindly let us monitor this situation.
Yes.
And then you come and release a communique at 1 in the morning. Is this now? What are we? As in, are we being shown how this government is like? This is a true indication of how this government is running. Nobody knows what to do and where. And when to do it. Because I can imagine the people in the Ministry of Education.
Yes.
They would have sat down and advised the leaders of this country, the cabinet.
Yes.
And advise everyone that this is what we need to do.
Yes.
We need to monitor the situation while the children are safe at home.
At home, yes.
Because I think there's no parent who would allow their child to go to school
with the uncertainties.
With the uncertainty.
Yeah.
That is not. It is not what a parent can. As in, can imagine now, like a child going and coming from school.
Yes.
How
safe are they?
We are seeing adults. Adults actually drowning.
Yeah.
Some adults are actually climbing a lorry to actually cross a river. Now you can imagine a child who is actually
helpless.
The decision making.
Yeah.
If an adult can decide, I need to cross and decide to take those kind of measures. Now a child who maybe they are worried about getting home late or they're worried about getting to school late. This is a child who will make a decision, a hasty decision.
Yes.
We're going to have numbers. We are going to see, we are going to lose our children.
Yes.
So it was the best thing what to do was actually hold. We didn't go to school for a year during COVID.
It's true.
A week or two
will not really affect.
And they can always compensate.
That's true.
Extend the term with a week or two.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this clearly shows the common mwananchi. You are on your own. The government in office is not clear. does not know what they are doing. In short.
In short.
In short.
Yes. Well, that would be interesting to watch and to see. And of course, we are in the business of letting you know what is going on in the country. So keep an eye out on that as well. Something else that is happening, the government of Kenya will be hosting the Africa Heads of State and the World Bank in the International Development Association, that is the IDA, to identify key priorities for financing in Africa and champion for an ambitious financing replenishment, of the IDA resources. Now, so this is happening today in Nairobi, that is the 29th of April. Amongst the speakers of the IDA Summit, that is the International Development Association, powered by the World Bank, is Ajay Banga. He's the president of World Bank Group. We have His Excellency, the President of Kenya, William Ruto, and Njuguna Ndung'u. He's the Cabinet Secretary, the National Treasury and Economic Planning Kenya. We also have Hugh Evans, who is the CEO of the Global Citizen, convening Global Citizen. We also have Nir Bar Dia. He's the CEO of Bridgewater. Ndindi Okonkwo Nweli, the Nunelli, I beg your pardon. He's president and CEO of One Campaign. We have Dr. James Mwangi, the CEO of the Equity Group Holdings. Sela Bongonko, he's co-founder and CEO, Jacobs Leader Africa. And all the conversations and convenings shall be moderated by Yvonne Ndege, who is a former international TV correspondent. So Nairobi has seen a splurge of international events across the board. I don't know whether to celebrate. I don't know how I feel about these events because, we just got out of the Africa Connect Summit. We never get to see whether they are actually for the good of even the grassroots level mwananchi. I don't know what you make of this and what maybe some of the priority financing that should be happening in these conversations. What do you make of it?
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Kenya is placed in a very good situation in terms of now these conferences coming in. Of course, we know these people come with huge delegations. That is work for people, our hotels. And also, it's something good for the country. Also, the spotlight on the country is something good.
Yes.
But in the whole delegation, I wish also we can also have delegations of human rights defenders, and also civil society, because I'm thinking sometimes all these plannings that are done by government, when it comes to stock taking, civil society really needs to be involved in this, because sometimes governments are a bit ambitious, or I can say they're planning a bit. Sometimes does not correspond to the needs of the common mwananchi. So I think there's need for the civil society to always be included in these kind of spaces. Because we have the link to the common mwananchi.
Yes, we do.
And we are independent.
Yes.
We can give our views without fear or favor. And where there's something that is being done, where there's something that needs to be done, we can always bring another angle of doing it.
That's right. And something interesting is, I do tend to have a problem with what we term as in development in Africa. Tall buildings and skyscrapers is really not development. We are talking about development in terms of what? Who is it benefiting? We are in a country that is just being ravished by floods right now. A big chunk of people, for example, in Mathare don't even know where they're going to get their next meal. Yet we are holding a summit here to just continuously show, how Nairobi is the New York of Africa. So I hear the joke. So it's a little bit of a yes, I'm all for development, but if it does not translate into the quality of people and the common mwananchi, and I know we shall be talking in depth a little bit about that, I beg to ask the government some questions. Yes. Yeah.
I think sometimes development in terms of the partners,
it
is not necessarily, it does not reflect to what is happening to the common Mwananchi.
Yes.
In the area of focus, you mentioned the floods that are happening. It's not only happening in Kenya. I think Africa at the moment is undergoing a lot of changes in terms of weather. And I think this is one of the issues that needs to be talked about in these platforms.
Yeah.
The issue of climate change.
Yes.
The issues of food security, food sovereignty.
Yeah.
How are we able to actually ensure that our people can actually feed themselves?
Yeah.
How do we ensure that people are not displaced? Because you can imagine now government is going to use a lot of money in this.
Yes.
Mitigation would have been way cheaper
if it was preventative. Yes.
If we look into investing more into mitigating this kind of effects, we have monies that are being brought, loss and damage, a lot of billions that are being brought in the country.
Yes.
Where are they being invested? We're looking at food in terms now. Right now, we need to be talking about the issue of food security. In the next few months, we're going to be having issues in terms of our food safety. Because now you can look at the farmers. They were given fake fertilizer.
Yeah.
And then now we have the rains that have taken over, the floods.
Yes.
So you can imagine that's a failed crop. In most places, we're not going to even have anything. So the topsoil has been carried away, the seeds have been carried away. In some places, those places have not been flooded, the seeds will fail.
Yes.
And even if they do, they'll not do well. So I think it's time we start having a conversation on how we can be able to actually ensure that. And I'm thinking this is happening when there's a strike in Kenya.
Yes.
A doctor's strike.
A doctor's strike, yes.
I don't know what you're going to discuss in terms of people, when your people cannot access healthcare.
Yes.
The poor people cannot access healthcare. I don't know what business do you have going to tell, what are you reporting to the World Bank? What are you telling these leaders who are visiting?
Yes.
That you're having a crisis.
Yes.
Your common Mwananchi cannot access healthcare. Your common Mwananchi had to wait for 4 days for you to bring lorries and come and do speeches. For 4 days they've been hungry. For 4 days they've been sleeping in cold floors with their children. For you to sit down in boardrooms and decide that you're going to bring money and food and do a presser. So before you do a presser, they have to wait.
Yes.
There's no emergency response. There's no outlined guidelines on how to mitigate floods in this country.
Yes.
So I think one of those issues that need to be talked about in this is actually in terms of climate change and food security and how we can be able to actually empower our people. Because I think it's something that day in, day out, African leaders sit down and talk about a very good presentations.
Yes.
Actually, if you look at the papers they present.
Documenting here in Kenya, we are so ahead of the curve.
Yeah, we are doing well in terms of putting papers out there and putting policies that are not implemented or even close to being implemented. So I think it's something we need to look at in terms of now those kind of international conferences coming to Africa, coming to Kenya, in terms of now how our people in Africa accessing education, accessing food, are they able infrastructure,
all that. All right, it will be interesting to see. So we can be telling you as it unfolds throughout our consecutive programming. Remember, you can catch us on Power Radio on YouTube and on our website. That is at www.power254 .org, and you can also stream in your comments and questions on our various social media platforms. That is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. That is at Power Radio, and we shall be delving into the discussion that we are having today with human rights defender Mr. David Karani on centering persons with disabilities in the conversation of political, economic and social inclusion and rights. For now, some music. I'll see you on the other side. This is Power Radio. Stay tuned.
Pawa Radio. Power up.
Switch production. Mapenzi ni bahari lisilo na mwisho. Mapenzi ni moto kwa roho na haichomi. Nimempenda msichana ewa kisonko. Mi umona kwenye ndoto usiku nikiwa ghetto. Uishi Runda kwetu ni Dandora. Kuna rusho makombora na kumeja wakora. Lakini je anakupenda? Najua we unampenda. Basi nenda pole pole, siku moja utampata. Penzi wangu never leave me. Penzi wangu rende pole pole. Take it slow as you go step by step. Take it slow as you go step by step. Anabonga tukilami, hapendi mama pima, hapendi za madondo, anataka tu mapiza. Anabonga tukilami, hapendi mama pima, hapendi za madondo, anataka tu mapiza. Enda pole pole, bado unasaka, chochote unataka, with time utapata. Hakuna matata, hakuna matata. Enda pole pole, bado unasaka. Penzi wangu never leave me. Penzi wangu rende pole pole. Take it slow as you go step by step. Take it slow as you go step by step. Penzi wangu never leave me. Penzi wangu rende pole pole. Take it slow as you go step by step. Take it slow as you go step by step.
Such a sweet feeling to feel love. I've been spending all of my day trying to find a way to show I love you in a way. I've been spending all of my nights trying to visualize your beautiful eyes. My sweet love, my sweet love, sweet love, 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 sweet love, love, love. See you in these images. I know I sound a little crazy. Not a sentimental. Ever since you came my way, my whole life has changed, and I do not regret this beautiful feeling of sweet love. My sweet love, 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 love.
And it's a feeling in my heart, feeling in my soul, feeling me up from my head to my toes. Sio kama mapenzi ya kawaida, penzi siwezi kuelewa kabisa. And it's a feeling in my heart, feeling in my soul, feeling me up from my head to my toes. Sio kama mapenzi ya kawaida, penzi siwezi kuelewa kabisa. Such a sweet feeling to feel love. Beautiful feeling to feel love. Feel love, 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 love. Mara kwa mara najipata kwenye ziwa isiyo na mipaka. I drift away in the sweet, sweet place as I think of the ways I'll share with you my sweet love. My sweet love, my sweet love, 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 love. And it's a feeling in my heart, feeling in my soul, feeling me up from my head to my toes. Kama mapenzi ya kawaida, penzi siwezi kuelewa kabisa. And it's a feeling in my heart, feeling in my soul, feeling me up from my head to my toes. Sio kama mapenzi ya kawaida, penzi siwezi kuelewa kabisa. Such a sweet feeling to feel love, 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 love. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Pawa Radio. Tune in and power up.
Kwa majina ni Iane. Iane.
Alexis on the beat.
Weka mziki, leo nataka kucheza. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa party, tunataka kucheza. Shida ni mingi, leo nataka kucheza. You know, we just wanna party and enjoy. Leo lazima nyama kwa wingi, ugali kidogo, pombe kwa wingi, chesa kidogo, mapenzi kwa wingi, chuki kidogo, situzitoke mdogo. For the sun fits on us, tujibambe pamoja. For the sun fits on us, tulewe pombe pamoja. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapale. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapale.
Hala the man them, hala the girl them. What I want every day we do it for the fun them. Sexy ladies in the party, man about money and you know it's an anthem. Give thanks to the Most High. Every day a blessing you see and we multiply. Bigger picture now your good side. A bigger picture now your good side. Jaba kwa wingi ngoi kidogo, usiogope choma foto. Pigia Cindy, pigia Jojo, na tunarudi soko. 'Cause I know you sacrifice, tujibambe pamoja. I know you sacrifice, situchome kimoja.
It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare.
Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare.
Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare.
Pawa Radio. Tune in and power up.
All right, a very good morning to you from wherever you're tuning in on Power Radio. That was Bien and Yani with their song Good Vibes and Inshallah. I don't know how good or the vibes are, how much Inshallah is there in Nairobi because the floods, karibu watu wanasweepiwa away, wengine wamesweepiwa away, but you know, we escape. We escape in our realities, and that's the point. That's the point of art. Before that, it was Wahoo with Sweet Love. I can't believe that it has been how many years. She released that song in 2008, and she also got a Grammy for that song. It really swept over the African continent, and we are proud to be associated with her. It is playing right here on Power Radio. This is the Power Morning Drive Show. My name is Wanyoike, and I am in studio joined by human rights defender, Mr. David Karani. And now we want to get into our day's discussion. We shall be talking about centering PWDs, or people living with disabilities, in the rights and inclusion conversations, whether it's social, political, and economic, and even just any other inclusion that might be there. Remember, you can get in touch with us. Might you have any questions, comments, you want to get in touch with us on our social media platforms? That is Power Radio on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Engage us there. We can also listen into the conversation live on Power Radio on YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, that is at Power Radio, and also on our website, that is www.power254.org/Power Radio. Now, Mr. Karani, thank you so much for, giving us the privilege of your time. Yes, and coming on our show to talk about some of the work that you do.
Thank you.
Now, maybe to just form a little bit of context for our audience, for our listeners, and also our watchers. When earlier on you were telling me that you happen to be a parent also who has a child with, who is in the PWD, and save an autistic child. Yeah. And also you are a human rights defender. Yeah. So maybe you can tell us just how much does that inform the work that you do? And first of all, even before we get to that, how did you get into the HRD space, and also how did you end up being the chair of the parents of children with disabilities?
So I can say human rights came first. I was a HRD before even I was blessed by God. I say every child is a blessing. Yes. So I was a HRD even before. I was blessed with my son Jabali. So actually, I started my work in Madare. But in school, I always tell people, people are born with that spirit of fighting for others. I've always been one of those people who will speak out if there's any injustice, even when I was in school. And I've seen a lot of people, even in schools, yes, when you speak out, you're treated as you're expelled even in schools. Schools don't like contrary opinions. I remember one time I was expelled out of school because of demanding newspapers. So I demanded that we be supplied with newspapers because we were in Form 4 and we were going to do our exams and all through we were having newspapers in the library.
Yes.
But now all of a sudden they decided they are going to cut that budget. So I rallied others and we decided to actually demand for papers because we were saying we are the people who are going to be out there in the next year making decisions and doing things in our country.
Right.
And needed information.
Right.
So that did not go down well with the school management, and I was told to go home. So I told people that's where my work or my passion, because I remember the principal telling me, "Wewe unajifanya human rights defender." So I think that's the time I was hit like, So what's speaking out for something that is happening is actually being a human rights defender. So that's the first time I actually thought, not bad. So that's how I started. I've always been out there talking whenever there's an issue that is actually happening. So I cleared my university, and during even my university, I was working. I was volunteering at Gator Foundation. That is one of the organizations that actually has become now social justice center. It was really doing a lot in terms of empowering youth. It was empowering the community. So that's where I went and started volunteering. That is like almost 14 years or 15 years ago. So that's the time I joined now. I got adopted by Madare.
Yes.
I always say I'm an adopted son of Madare. So that's the first time I visited Madare through the hands of now Gator Foundation. They actually introduced me now to community work. And that's how I started now doing a lot of community work. So during that journey, we've empowered youth to start businesses. We've talked about, we've empowered young mothers. There's a time we were doing something to empower small businesses in the community with partnerships from other places. And now that journey, we'd always see police brutality, where our young people were being shot, our young people were being brutalized by police. Anytime police would see any young man from the community, from the slums, they'd always brand that young man a criminal. I always tell people it's easy for a young man in Kilimani or in other places to put dreadlocks and survive. But when you have dreadlocks in the ghettos, you're branded. Police will always ask, even if a crowd is passing, the police will always single you out. Kuja hapa kijana. So it's an expression,
profiling.
But it's profiling, police profiling. And especially when you're in Madare or other informal settlements, it has always been happening. And I wish also to take this opportunity to actually give my condolences to one of the human rights defenders that we lost in Madare, who has been really working to empower mothers of victims. That is Mama Victor. We lost Mama Victor in the floods, in the Madare floods. I think we'll talk about that and what is being done. So I just wish to take this moment to actually pass my condolences to the family and actually even also thank HRDs and also civil society. They've really done a lot to ensure that actually the community in Madare is actually being, as in it's able to actually even get a meal or get something small. Because I've seen through the efforts of Gator Foundation, Dandora Justice Center, Roraka Justice Center, and also Madara Social Justice Center, they've done a lot to ensure that actually the people down there, and even the family. So I wish to also thank Kenyans who've given, actually, they've given their time, their resources towards that. And also to actually ask those who want to do it, they can always reach out to now those centers, the social justice centers. Yes, and just ask the government, tafadhali, do more. It's 4 days. Nothing has been done. We saw the vice president of Gashagwa going to launch mattresses and taking 4 days later. I don't know why it has to be an event. This is an emergency. We don't need to sit in boardrooms and announce that we are going to send NYS, we are going to send who. We saw yesterday, actually, Mama Victor's son, saying how much he's spending on a daily basis to pay people to do the search and rescue.
In the recovery.
Yes. You can imagine.
Yeah.
Going into your pocket now. You're already grieving, but you cannot grieve properly before finding those people. We lost, actually, that young man lost 7 members of his family.
Wow.
It's really sad. So we are wondering. I've been, yesterday I was in Madare. We are being told NYS is coming. I've not seen any single. Actually, I saw NYS yesterday coming to protect Gachagua, coming to control the crowd because Gachagua was coming. And then they left with Gachagua. So we're wondering, were these people just coming to actually grace the occasion?
Yeah.
Because we've been told NYS are coming, are coming, the military is good. Actually, Madare and NYS, where the main school is, it's actually 5 minutes.
Only 5 minutes?
A walking distance.
Wow.
Actually, even if they decide to walk, they can get to Madare. And actually, we're just wondering, the military, there's a lot of PR being done, but nothing on the ground. It has taken 4 days for those people to get food.
Non-food items
and non-food items. Red Cross has been on the ground, but it would have it would have not done like enough for everyone. Social justice centers and other civil society organizations have been on the ground. They've really done a lot. Haki Africa has done so much there. A lot of organizations have done so much, but government has done nothing towards that.
Wow.
Until yesterday, when they were coming to give a bit of ungas and stuff with the media and doing a lot of speeches, for 4 days, those people have been angry. Those people have been stranded. Out of the cold.
Yes.
So that is just the pain that I feel when I look at how our country is being run.
Yes.
How emergency response is so. It has to be managed. They have to sit somewhere in a board and decide we are releasing this kind of amount of money while the people are waiting. We need. They're telling people move to safer grounds, but they're not identifying those as safer grounds.
And also, it's not. It's expensive. The logistics alone. We are talking about people in informal settlements where they live under $1 a day. Yeah. So you can imagine telling people. And I want us to pivot a little bit about now the actual conversation of today, because yes, we can talk about even the evacuations process from people who've been affected, like for example in the Madari flooding and such instances. But I do know for sure that whatever affects abled Mwananchi, it affects double or even triple, like with people living with disabilities.
The effect is double.
So how then can we plan differently for people with living with disabilities? Because I know for sure that it's the ripple effects are double for them as well.
Yeah, actually, we've documented a bit of cases of now persons living with disability, and also parents who have children with disability in the area.
Yes.
Actually, allow me just to give a small, just a small background why we may have a lot of persons living with disability. We have we've recorded almost 40 people being affected in the Madare area.
Just in Madare alone?
Just the Madare area, Madare and Oruma. Because I find most people, due to the economical disparities, economical and social disparities, most persons living with disability are left to live in the slum areas. Because disability and poverty are like brothers.
Yes.
Because most of the times you find these people don't have a lot of opportunities. Access to opportunities. Some of them didn't even attend school.
Yes.
Because there was...
there's that being, sort of dismissed.
Yeah, they are...
Like, what would it be for them anyway?
A lot of persons living with disability end up in the low-income areas.
Yes.
So we have a bit of a bigger number in Madare. We've recorded almost 40 at the moment.
Yes.
Those are the persons living with disability and also the parents who have children who have disability.
Yes.
so far we've had even cases of those who've lost their equipments, like those who need wheelchairs.
Yes.
There are those people who need crutches.
Yes.
There's those people who need the white cane. So
the
we've had a very big number of them needing support. And always, you can imagine now, anytime there's a crisis and the people need to maybe be evacuated, they'll take lesser time.
Yes.
If people need to run,
they'll
person
go,
with disability cannot run.
Yes.
If there's an emergency, those people cannot be able to respond.
Yes.
As in time. So there's a bit of a problem when now it comes to now persons living with disability. They need actually to be helped in terms of now being given a bit of special attention.
That's right.
Because right now we are seeing there are those mothers who have children who have conditions that require therapy.
Like physiotherapy?
There are those who require drugs.
Okay.
Like essential drugs to ensure that they don't get maybe conversions or something like that.
Yes.
So right now they are out there in the cold.
Yes.
And you find that those children who actually, the immune system is a bit lower.
Lower, yeah.
You can imagine for children with cerebral palsy.
Yes.
Some of them, their immune system is not the best in terms of now handling even the cold or out there maybe in a floor. So we've really tried to check because the situation is not good at all. There are those who need assistive devices.
Yes.
Like those who use crutches. Their crutches are lost. There's some, the wheelchair has been damaged. And as I talked about drugs, and those who need maybe pampers and stuff like that. So that is the situation when it comes to now persons with disability. And also to mention, there are those who are on special diet.
Oh wow.
So if you're a parent who maybe your child requires a lot of special needs, special diet, and you're not able to, the government is supplying this kind of food, maybe rice, beans, and maybe you require extra. So it's a bit hectic.
It's quite hectic.
It's hectic on them. But we are trying to do what we can to ensure that actually they are moved fast from the cold. Because no child should actually go through what they're going through right now. We are seeing actually government trying to even move them from schools, and I don't know where they're going to go to.
And I mean, it's interesting that you just talk about the people affected, the people living with disabilities, but I can also not help myself from thinking about the caregivers. I want you to maybe just let us in a little bit about what it looks like for a caregiver of a person or people with disabilities, because I can only imagine.
So I diverted from your question a bit on the association, but I think there's a time now we can just have a small background on. Personally, being a HRD, I was blessed by my son Jabali, who is now almost 10, with autism, and now starting to look at now the services that are being offered to now those children. That is now, I would not keep my mouth shut.
Yes.
You
have to say, you're a defender.
Being the defender that I am,
yes.
I started looking at the space for these parents. And I was looking at how maybe in terms of care, what happens? In terms of schools, what happens? Because you find the schools of children with special needs are not equipped. The care that child requires is very expensive.
Yes.
Right now, there are parents who actually, and I really want to take this chance just to talk about the children who require maybe constant care in terms of therapy, maybe in terms of maybe medication and stuff.
Yes.
So right now with the doctor's strike, I don't know what those parents are doing. But you can imagine being a caregiver, there's those children who have conditions that are very serious. Maybe there are those who are bedridden and require constant care. Maybe some of them are even in feeding tubes. Some of them on pampers. Some of them on constant medication, like maybe anticonvulsants. So it's really a hectic it's really hectic for these parents. Some of them have had to leave their jobs or what they were doing to just take care of these children. Full time.
Yes.
It's a full-time job for some of them.
Yes.
Although parenting is a full-time job.
It is a full-time job, but the
now
dynamics
are
a
different.
little bit more complex.
Yeah, but now there are those who have to take care of their child on a 24-hour. They are on bed.
Round the clock.
Yeah, some of them have to be turned to ensure that they don't get bed sores. Some of them have to be fed. You have to blend the food, maybe on a feeding tube. So for those, it's really hard for them.
Yes. Do they get psychosocial support, maybe economical support, maybe? Because I'm thinking if a parent was a professional and now they have had to detransition from work to taking care of their, for example, a child or a family member, a loved one who is suffering disability. I mean, I wonder what how do you bridge the gaps, whether it's, because I'm thinking it's very mentally tasking as well. Yes.
So I'll tell you what happens in Kenya. An example of what happened to me.
Yes.
First time we were told my son may be autistic. I was told by, I think a medical profession, just like casually. Your child is autistic. And now I have to find out what is autism.
Yes.
How do you deal with autism?
Yes.
What do you do?
Yes.
How do you start handling it?
Yes.
So to most parents, this news is just broken to you, like as in your child will be different, and you're left
to figure it out.
What to do.
Yes.
Where to go. Where to do what. Doctors will just tell you casually, and I don't blame them, because maybe when you're a doctor, you've seen so many issues
that
you've dealt with.
You become sort of desensitized.
You become as in it's normal work to you.
Yeah.
But you don't know what happens to that family. You've just broken news to that family that they'll have to digest. They require someone to actually help them in this kind of situation. And most of them, you find like those ones who are born in the maternity, you're told, mama, sasa utasaidia mtoto yako atakuwa na ulemavu. And you are given that child after some few days and you go home.
With them.
You don't know where to start.
Yes.
No psychosocial support.
Absolutely none.
Because most of them, they're left confused.
Yes.
Because I think the first thing you need to do is at least counsel this child. And just tell them, this is what has happened. This is how we are coming in. And this, I think, your child will be different in this way. You'll have to do a lot. Maybe you'll have to cater for them, maybe even past the age that normally we because you see the milestone, you have to as in, there's supposed to be something. So but we don't usually there's nothing being offered in terms of that. So that is now why we came up with the Association of Parents with Children with Special Needs, which I'm the current chair, because I'm the interim chair.
You're the interim chair.
We're yet to have proper elections and have a proper now organogram and see what will happen now. But that is what informed our decision to start the Association of Parents. Because you find those parents are left wondering what to do next.
Wow.
So no social support. But right now there's something being done with the good senator, Asegi. We've worked on something. Crystal Segi. This caregivers bill.
Yes.
Not a bill, but actually there's a person's living disability bill that is actually, there is a clause on caregivers. They are going to be getting something, a tax break of 150,000. Which I think
it's a startup.
It's a start on the right direction. And also there's a learners with special needs bill that is coming up, which is actually very good. We need to actually ensure that these people are in our schools and are getting an education.
Wow, thank you for bringing that up. Now that you mentioned Crystal Asige, we shall be going on a short musical break. And when we come back, we will talk about the policy and law frameworks that, like what does the Kenyan law and what are the policy frameworks in place that protect the rights of peoples and all persons living with disabilities. Remember, this is your Power Morning Drive show with me, Anne Wanyoike, and I am with David Karani, a human rights defender and the chair of the Parents of Children Living with Disabilities. You can get in touch with us on our social media platforms, that is Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter on Power Radio. In case you have any questions, comments, let us know where you're watching us from, where you're listening us from, and we will be happy to engage you. This is Power Morning Drive on Power Radio. Let's get some music. We'll be right back.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Nitarudi, imenibidi sina budi, riziki kutafuta, usife moyo jipe moyo, I promise. Machozi nitafuta, nieleze unachotaka. Usilie wakati unataka, niambie, I'll be listening.
Niahidi tutaonana tena, tutaonana tena. Niahidi tutaonana tena, tutaonana tena. Niahidi tutaonana tena, niahidi tutaonana.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Our favorite Israeli, Mr. Gilad, right there. with Della Nakwahidi, and it's playing right here on Power Radio. This is the Power Morning Drive with me and Wanyoike and Mr. David Karani, a human rights defender and the chair of the Parents with Children with Association of Parents
children with special needs.
with children with special needs. Oh my God, I beg your pardon. It's quite a mouthful right there. Yes, and we are just talking about centering, PWDs in the rights and inclusion conversation. And before we went on break, we were talking about what it looks like or what it takes to be a caregiver, and the dynamics involved of being a caregiver to either children or your loved ones that have that are abled differently. And something interesting that maybe we can not talk about on the conversation about inclusion and rights. A lot of it has to do with integration and cultural acceptance. And I think about stigma, the stigmatization of people that live with disabilities. I mean, you can only go and do a stroll in for example, in the rural areas where we have so many cultural barriers and cultural attitudes and beliefs about, maybe where the disability came from. I know there are some communities that really demonize disabilities as well. And people that have disabilities are looked at as outcasts, and people just bad-mouthing them, or they don't want to do anything with that. So how then do we make sure that they are integrated, and how do we subvert these cultural stigmas, these cultural barriers to enable more safer environments and spaces for people that are affected by disabilities?
I think what you mentioned is actually very important. It's a conversation that we should be having in all spaces. It's a conversation that actually should be part of, I think, even at our homes, even at our churches, because when you talk about cultural beliefs, and this is control. I don't know if, but I normally tell people if there is a place where persons living with disability have not been given, actually, the space is religious books. That is where the stigma starts.
Okay.
I don't know. That is my personal opinion. There are those who may vary. Their opinion may vary, but that is their opinion. But I feel like the religious books have really they're the ones who started this whole issue of discriminating persons living with disability. Because you find in most books, in the Bible, in the Quran, persons living with disability are talked about as having demons, as demons being taken away from them. These people who have leprosy, they are said to be having a lot of issues. So I think I'll not actually go and say that that old woman in the village who believes that disability is a curse. I'll not blame them. I'll just blame the society and how most of people look at even the religious books. Because going back, we find most of our people are religious, or they have at least doctrine, religious doctrine.
Yes.
They've here and there. So that is where a lot of discrimination starts. So you find a lot of people from the Bible or the Quran, they'll tell you, disability ni kitu ile ilikuwa na inawekwa na demons, or it's associated with a lot of bad things. So when that old lady in the village looks at a child and think, huyo mtoto akona demons, I can't blame them. And I think this is an issue where I have to I'll look. I know I'm diving in a very, very murky water. It's a sea that
but
I don't know.
we have to talk about it.
I don't know if I'll.
We have to talk about it.
Yeah, but that is the work of a human rights defender. You go into
you go where people don't want to go,
and you talk about things that people have been ignoring for a very long time. So I think there's a lot of discrimination, even in families. not even in the rural areas, even the city.
Even in the cities.
You'd find I've had members who've been told to move because their child is a bit different from the rest of the children. And these are cases we handle with a lot of brutality. These are cases we take to court and ensure that this person learns that you do not discriminate a child because they're different. We've had 2 cases in Nakuru, like those ones. A parent was asked actually to vacate from their rental premises because the child was different, and the other neighbors actually, the children would not understand this child. So I was wondering, is it now? Who's the problem here? So when you talk about an African setup, we are still yet to work on those attitudes towards persons living with disability. But I can say shows like this are actually a step towards the right direction.
Towards that,
because you'd find there are people who you'll tell autism, they don't know what autism
that is.
You'll tell them a child will have cerebral palsy, they don't know
what is that,
what causes that. Huyo ni laana ama ni watu yao wanakuanga na hiyo magonjwa. Because I know of people who actually they've been left, ladies.
Wow.
Mothers who've been told wewe unazaanga watoto wako na ulemavu, and the husband goes due to now not understanding or the discrimination that is there. So it is something that needs to be done from the churches, the schools, the communities.
Yes.
A lot needs to be done.
Pulling together all our efforts across the board.
But I wish to actually talk about education right now.
Yes.
We are seeing schools that are inclusive right now. Inclusion is one of those things that we've always been fighting for.
Yeah.
This thing called special needs schools, I don't know, that is just something wrong. We don't need to keep these people away from us. These are our brothers.
Yes.
These are our children.
Yes.
These are those young people. They need to know. But because actually I was telling someone, if you grew up and seeing persons living with disability in your school, you'll not go out there and start looking at them differently. Yeah. Because you understand them.
Because you understand them.
You understand them. So the Ministry of Education has really done a lot to ensure that there is inclusion in the learning space. Okay. So if you have a unit, maybe integration also. If you have learners who maybe are having a bit of a problem or are different from us in terms of maybe learning disabilities, they are put in the same institution or even the same class. They're integrated slowly by slowly. So I think there we are really trying. Yeah, because we want to finish this thing called special needs schools, unless in those cases where there is really need for those learners to be in a special institution.
Right. And just a little, the statistics, if I may, out of Kenya's population, according to the last census that was done in 2019, only 2.2% is the makeup of people living with disabilities in the Kenyan population. And so we want now to pivot into the public policy and what the Kenyan Constitution states, or some of the provisions from law that the state has put in place in ensuring that people living with disabilities are protected. Now, according to Article 54 of the Kenyan Constitution, remember this was passed by the Bill of Rights, Chapter 4, a person with any disability is entitled to A, to be treated with dignity and respect and to be addressed and referred to in a manner that is not demeaning. B, to access educational institutions and facilities for persons with disabilities that are integrated into society to the extent compatible with the interests of the person. Then there is C, to a reasonable access to all places, public transport and information. Then there's D, to use sign language, braille, or other appropriate means of communication. And finally, to access materials and devices to overcome constraints arising from the person's disability. Then we have the second item on that Article 54, that the state shall ensure the progressive implementation of the principle this principle rather, that at least 5% of the members of the public in elective and appointive bodies are persons with disabilities. Now, beautiful framework there, beautiful document as always. You know, Kenyans, we like writing, we like showing our intellectual prowess when it comes to documentation. But when it comes to the applicability of it, I mean, in practice, how are we doing when it comes to these legal frameworks in the protection of people living with disabilities and also the inclusion in human rights? Yeah,
I liked what you've said. We are really good in we are good in that. But you talked about section B, section 2.
Yes.
The state shall ensure progressively implementation. That is a thing that has been in this country holding us back.
Yes.
That progressive word, that progressively is what has been holding the rights of persons living with disability.
That's right.
If today you go and ask about anything, they'll tell you, read part B, part 2.
Yeah.
Progressively.
Yes.
I think that has been the thing that has been really holding the rights of a lot of people. Even when you look at Article 42, in terms of social and economic rights,
yes,
state shall progressively.
Yes.
I think it's time now we look at 2010 to now. How many years has that been?
We still even...
we
still call the Constitution of 2010 the new Constitution.
The new Constitution.
You know?
It's been years. We really need to actually find ways to now stop this progressive thing. Because how progressive is progressive?
Yes.
How many years do we need to ensure that actually every learner can access an education institution and a facility that can actually enable that learner to get a skill? One thing, our children may not be able to do a lot in terms of now education. There's some who really go far and some who do a lot. They do well, extremely well. But there are those who need a skill. I think the whole essence of going to school is for us to be able to get a skill that you can use later to earn a living. Like what you're doing now. You earn a skill in journalism.
Yes.
That is what you're using to earn a living.
Yes.
There are those who go to law school. There are those who do medical school. You get a skill that you use later. If a child can be able to even go to a technical school and learn and get a skill that can be able to help them later, that is what is important.
Yes.
So how many years do we need to ensure that reasonable access to public transport, to public places? You still go to buildings, government buildings that don't have ramps.
Wow.
You still go and find a developer who has done very good buildings, but they've forgotten that they need actually to actually put toilets for persons who have needs.
Yes.
Maybe a person in a wheelchair.
Yes.
They need a special toilet. You've seen a lot of people doing a lot of development, but they forget to factor in that is somebody who's going to be differently abled.
Yes.
Even in the transport sector, we know if today NTSA decides that we need to have a space for a person with a wheelchair or a person who has scratches in our buses, it will be done. And I want to just to mention there are circles who've done that in this country. There's one in Githurai called Nico.
Yeah.
They have a special space for persons living, persons with maybe assistive devices. If you have maybe crashes or you need, they have that is something they've really done. They've really done well. And also there's this other circle that is coming up and really trying to see how they can be able to include persons living with disability.
Which circle is this?
There's this one that is really popular right now, going through the whole of Nairobi. I think Super Metro. They're really trying to ensure that actually they even have they're actually talking to their conductors to ensure that they actually understand that what do you do when you're in a situation where you have to
onboard a person with
because most of them, they've had problems.
Yes.
And also in terms of e-mobility, right now, e-hailing cabs. When you order a cab and you're a person living disability,
yes,
and they come and they find you with a wheelchair, most of them will go.
Wow, it blatantly.
Yeah, most of them will tell you, apana.
Siendi. Yes.
I've had friends who they've had to actually even have maybe even come close to now wondering, what do I do? There are some who've been left stranded in the middle of the road.
Yes.
The drivers decide, sitaki mtu mwenye ako na hiyo kazi mingi. So I think the word progressively is the one that is really holding us back. And also in the issue of sign language and braille,
yes,
in communication, government has tried in terms of that, but enough has not been done. When you look at sign language is not being offered in our essential services. Like today, we need people who are offering services that are important to persons with disability to be taught this in their curriculum.
Yes, like maybe at the supermarket or all spaces.
Can
essentially.
we have KMTCs having sign language as one of the things that they teach in school, so that when a person who needs assistance goes to a doctor, they don't have to come in the translator. And police, when they are going to Kiganjo, can we have police being taught in terms of inclusion? Can they have officers who will take up sign language as part of their coursework? Because the courts right now are trying. We have assistants in the courts. And a lot of work is being done to ensure that also persons who actually are deaf can access justice and also can be able to understand. And also, you've seen right now we have news. It is actually something that is happening in our country.
Yes, it's been integrated.
Yeah, so I think it's something. And also government documents. We really want them to all be in Braille. The Constitution is in Braille, and I think I want to actually say kudos to the Kenya reports, the Kenya law reports. They have copies of the Constitution in Braille.
Well, I wonder whether religious books are also in Braille. I would love to see the Bible in Braille. The
It's
Quran
there.
in
I think
Braille?
it's there.
Is it there?
I think the Bible is there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Is
the Bible is there.
Quran?
Quran, I'm not sure about.
Yeah, we will
But
research. Yeah.
I think it's something that needs to be done.
Yes.
To ensure that also that person can be able to understand and be able to read for themselves.
You know, we live in a very ableist society. You know, unfortunately, we live in a very ableist society where we don't quite make the provisions of people, you know, who are abled differently, as we've been discussing. And so that leads me now to the next question. Then how do we ensure or maybe empower the actual people who live with disabilities to start advocating for themselves? Are there programs that enable them to actually be at the forefront in advocating for their own rights, so that it's not just coming from maybe a person like you who is affiliated? Yes.
There's a lot being done into self-advocacy. We have a lot of people who are able to actually go out there and talk about their own stories.
Yes.
Growing up. And actually, let me mention, we talked about the numbers. And just mention the numbers are growing every day. Because disability, those who are born with disability,
yes,
there is acquired disability.
Yes.
You may be in an accident, you're involved in an accident. There's some who lose eyesight, and there's some who actually one day you wake up and the system has just decided now we are going to shut. There's those who have injuries in the spine without even getting an injury as per se.
Yes.
So in terms of you saying talking about living in an enabling
ableist
society.
Yes.
These people, once they're in this situation, that's when they realize, wow, I've been ignorant. Like for me, I can say I was ignorant until now. I was blessed with a child who is different.
Yes.
Neurological development disorder where you cannot see the disability, but that person's brain is different.
Yes.
They'll not behave like a normal child.
That's right.
They'll not hit the milestones as you expect. Speech may be a problem, but maybe they're hyperactive, something like that.
Mobility.
Yeah. There's some, for them, speech is the main issue. And interactions in society, the normal things that we call normal or regular. Comprehension, they're good. They understand. They know what they're doing. They know what they want.
And that's the thing. There's a little bit of a misinformation and disinformation. Yeah, we think that people who with disabilities are maybe dumb. I've heard that a lot. Even in school, we used to. We would just like bash them when we were growing up. You know, and that's not the case. You know,
there's some who've really. They've really done a lot, not only in the academic field, but also in other fields.
Yes.
They've really done a lot.
Yeah.
Good artists, good musicians, good. They can live a full life.
Yes.
If abled early.
Yes.
If we are able to actually ensure that these children attend school, and not only school, but being in full school. Like, I wish to call out Sakaja. The schools in Nairobi County are not funded. They are, in a horrible situation. Teachers, they don't have teachers.
Yes.
They have shortage in material. They don't have learning equipment. The teachers, and we've done a lot of petitions. The other day, when they were employing teachers for CBC, they did not employ a single teacher who is able to actually teach learners with needs. So they forgot.
Wow.
Mostly learners with special needs are an afterthought.
That's why representation is important.
They're an afterthought.
Yeah.
After everything is done, that's when they remember, we have teachers who are in the special needs category who need to actually go to those schools. That's when they do it. We did a petition we petitioned TSC, and I want to say the petition was successful.
Yes.
They redeployed teachers to those centers, which I think it was just a bad thing to not put those learners in your planning. Animals are doing better than us in caring for those who are sick, those who are mothers. Because anytime, even when animals are migrating, the ones with children, the ones who are injured, the ones who need attention are kept in the front. So we can just say animals are doing better than us.
Wow.
Humans, we do not care about each other. Yes. If an animal can decide, since we are going, let's put the ones who are old, injured, and with young ones in the front, so they can dictate the pace.
Yes.
So we don't move past their pace. If they're in front of us, we will be moving according to how they go. So I think it's something we need to do.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we need to learn from even the animals.
Yes.
Anytime they're migrating, the ones with young ones and the ones who are injured, they're kept on the front. Us, we don't remember those who need special attention to keep them on the front. Right now, doctors are on strike. Persons living with disability who need constant care cannot get doctors. This is something that you're wondering, do you have a government in this country? There are children who need constant therapy. There are those who need to be seen by doctors at least once or twice a month, just to ensure that actually there's something happening. Because you find the parents who actually visit hospitals. That's what I was telling you. It's very expensive to cater for a child with special needs.
That's right.
Because there are parents who have to go to hospital every week. Today, if I ask you, when is the last time you went to hospital to maybe take someone, you'll not remember.
Yes.
Or even yourself, you'll not remember. Maybe you'll have to say, but for a parent who has a child with special needs, if you ask them when was the last time, they'll tell you. And you ask them when is the next time, they'll tell you. Because they know.
They know.
Yeah,
it has become
part of their day routine.
Yes.
And they need this care. They cannot afford private institutions. Private institutions, they are doing great work in this country, but we need to cater for public institutions to be able to offer quality service.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with those who can afford, but not everyone can afford that hospital, that private hospital. There are those who are depending. And I can just say openly, the poor are bearing the burden of egoism. Egoism from government.
Our leaders, yes.
Our government is not listening to the people. We give them, they only are humble when they want votes from us. Right now, there are people who are being injured in the floods. When they're doing the number of deaths, they're doing the number of injuries. Where are these people going to hospital? You can easily be told the numbers of the injured, but you're not told where do these injured get care? Can they afford that care? Are we really caring about these poor people? The people in Mathare. There are people who are going for dialysis. There are people who are going for chemotherapy, radiotherapy. Can they afford those services from private institutions? You know, we can easily talk about government cannot do everything, but it has duty. It has a duty
and
to its people.
Mandate to its people, yes.
If it's going to, you can say, oh, the doctors have an oath. They have an oath to protect life, but they also need their conditions to be taken care of. They need an environment that they can be able to say it's a good working environment. So we're just urging government, and we are going to mobilize people, the common mwananchi. Fahali wawili wanapigana. Sisi nyasi tunaumia.
Yes.
Where is our voice in all this?
Yes.
Where is the voice of civil society in those tables, the negotiating tables? You're bringing people in the negotiating table. The other day, we saw the summons, the COG was summoned to Parliament in the Health Committee.
Yes.
They did not show up.
Yeah, we saw that.
Are you people who are caring about people? Or is it your ego? We gave you that office. Sisi ndio wa matajiri wako. And there are times when it comes to a point when you see your employer, your employee is not doing the right thing. As an employer, you come out and remind them that I gave you that mandate to do what is right for me. Not you. You will not be weak when you need to the demands of the doctors.
Yes.
We need those doctors. Some of us cannot afford that private institution. And I would wish for us as common mwananchi to withdraw those services, private institutions, our leaders. All those MCAs and governors, if their insurance is cancelled today, they'll negotiate with doctors.
Properly.
They'll negotiate.
Because then now they'll get to see what it
They'll
actually
negotiate.
looks like on
We
ground.
need those insurance covers to be cancelled. MPs, nani, wote. If the insurance are cancelled today and they are forced to go to public hospitals, they will negotiate.
Well, let's see if at all that is something that will be taken up. And before we go on to a break, I just want to read a few comments right here as we get into the final leg of our discussion for today. I can see DJ CJ Kenya. He's saying that he is locked in. Cynthia Okoth, thank you for tuning in. She's saying she's locked in and she's saying that this is an interesting conversation. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Let me see whether there's more. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much to all our listeners or watchers, wherever they are tuning in from. Remember, you can use the hashtag that is Power Morning Drive, or you can also get in touch with us on our YouTube channel. Of the comments, we will be happy to read them out loud. That is at Power Radio, and also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Power Radio. As we continue in our conversation on centering people living with disabilities in the inclusion and rights conversation. When we come back, we talk about what justice would look like then. We have a future that we are building, or rather, I should say, we have a present and a future that we are building for people living with disabilities. What would social justice look like for them? What would economic justice look for them? And what would political justice look like for them? This is Power Radio. Stay tuned.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Kukucheki anipenda nimemwacha nyumbani hajui baby wanichanganya zingua maliza mimi sijiwezi ni makosa baby forbidden fruit so sweet naenda mimi sitabaki tujiweka shimoni. This is where we end, yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause you're taboo. Oh, yeah. Wewe ni taboo, 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 taboo. Wewe ni taboo, taboo. 'Cause you're taboo. Oh, yeah. Wewe ni taboo, 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 taboo. Wewe ni taboo, taboo. Kunishika mkono hivo, ninahisi mengi ila ninajua kuna kikomo. Si upendo ni mchezo, uongo si tumeamini. Najaribu kumpenda niliye naye, go on and let me be. Naenda mimi sitabaki, tujiweka shimoni. This is where we end, yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause you're taboo. Oh, yeah. Wewe ni taboo, 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 taboo. Wewe ni taboo, taboo. 'Cause you're taboo. Oh, yeah. Wewe ni taboo, 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 taboo. Wewe ni taboo, taboo. Naenda mimi sitabaki, tujiweka shimoni. This is where we end, yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause you're taboo. Oh, yeah. Wewe ni taboo, 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 taboo. Wewe ni taboo, taboo. 'Cause you're taboo. Oh, yeah. Wewe ni taboo, 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 taboo. Wewe ni taboo, taboo.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
All right. That is Fee with Taboo. And we are just joking here that our serikali is the one that is
Tabu
tupu
tupu.
manze. Tabu tupu manze. It's playing right here on the Power Morning Drive Show on Power Radio. My name is Wanyoike, and we are unfortunately coming to towards the end of our conversation today. We've been discussing centering PWDs, rather, people living with disabilities, in the inclusion and rights conversation. But before we wrap up and just get to decipher what exactly would economic, political, and social justice would look like for, for people living with disabilities in Kenya and beyond. There is a demonstration that is coming up in Mathare in support of the
Actually, no, it's not going to be in Mathare.
Yes.
Not in the floods.
Not in the
floods.
We're
doing something to mobilize the common mwananchi.
Okay.
To give to give instructions to the people they employed. They employed the president.
Yes.
They employed that governor.
Yes.
They pay taxes. Their taxes is the one that is being used to employ those people in the Ministry of Health.
Yes.
Those people who don't want to negotiate with doctors don't know what the common Wananchi is going through. I say it about those people who need constant care. The dialysis, the chemo and the radio, the therapy. It's really expensive for those people. They need doctors. Doctors have had their day.
Yes.
With governors, with the government. They've had their day with the ministry. Nakuminchi has had their day. They've come out issuing statements about who is doing what and who is doing what.
Yes.
Doctors have had their day. But as the common Mwananchi, who is the direct beneficiary of these services being offered by the doctors, have they had their say? What do they want? We want to tell government, negotiate. We are the people who employed you. We want to give you instructions as your bosses. Negotiate with the doctors.
Yes.
We need care.
We need health care.
It's
an emergency, you know.
So we're going to hold a demo
for
the common Mwananchi,
yes.
the taxpayers, the people who use those services.
Yes.
Maybe those governors and those people in the ministry. I wonder by the way, why do people in the Ministry of Health require a private insurance services? You're the people who are catering for the public health. But then we should cancel those insurance.
Those are some of the symptoms of a government that is led by a classist, political class, elitist political class.
It's like the day you walk into a Kenya Power office and you find a generator. That shows you that those people, they know their services are not good.
We are constantly living in oxymorons in this country. I mean, it's sickening. It's sickening. But as we conclude our discussion of today, what would justice look like then? You are active in this space of ensuring that PWDs are in good care. What does a free and just world look like for them, and how can we all pull our resources, our efforts, our knowledge together to ensure that that future and that present is achieved and realized?
What would a just future look like? It would look as in the picture I really want, and I have my son in mind every time I talk about this, because this goes home directly. It directly hit home for me when I look at that young man, and I want to see that young man getting an education that can actually help him. I want that young man to be able to interact with society without feeling like he's the one who's supposed to fit in. It is us who are supposed to actually look at how we can be able to include them in the conversation, not them to be trying to come into the conversation and not being able to fit in. So a future would look like where I would really love a future where young people with disability are abled.
Yes.
In terms of now accessing information in government, accessing schools, they're able to also get employment, and they're also able to live a fulfilling life, just like their countermates, just like their age mates, just a fulfilling life where they're able to earn a living, a decent living. I really feel pain when I see a young person who is in wheelchair being kept the whole day in a place begging.
Yeah.
I feel bad because for the longest time, persons living with disability, the only career path they would take is begging. You'd find people who, and I sometimes I don't blame those parents. They don't know any better. You'd find, because I would wish to see a country where, a young man who is not attending school and has a disability is the parents are forced to take that child to school. That child can learn something. They may not be able to learn the algebra and everything, but they learn something.
Yes.
And they can be able to actually go out there and depend on themselves. Because that's the future I would wish to see, where no child in this country is forced to beg in the streets or is used kama kitega uchumi, where every person living with disability will be able to get an opportunity in the table, not only to be given, but also to be in the decision-making tables, where when we are making decisions, we remember that there are those in our community that need assistance, need special attention. When we're doing our planning, where we can be able to put these people in the table and ask them, what is it that you wish? Nothing for you without you. That is the future I would wish to see in this country.
Yes. Wow. And now finally, what would your clarion call to the NGO sector, private sector, government, abled members of society, and everyone who can get involved in fighting for the rights and inclusion of PWDs be? What clarion call would it be as we wrap up the show?
I think my call would be to just take time and realize and just go and find out what is it that these people would wish to. Don't sit in boardrooms and assume that people with disability just need wheelchairs.
Yes.
People with disability need crutches.
Yeah.
People with disability need this.
Yes.
Go down and even if you're doing a project, have it at the center of it. Have those persons with disability to guide you and tell you this is the way we'd wish to be helped.
Yes.
Because I find a lot of people, even government, NGOs, and even I find a lot, even philanthropists who sit and imagine, if I want to do something for PWDs, let me just buy wheelchairs. Let me buy crutches.
Yes.
Let me go and maybe buy some sewing machines and give it to them. Or there are those people who don't only do that. There's IT right now. There's a lot of spaces. So let us in any development that we're doing or any planning that we're doing, let's center those persons, the caregivers and those persons living with disability, to be at the center of this. And also the current call, I think the biggest one that I would wish to come into this space and really look at how they're handling issues is the church. Because the church has, as I said earlier, religious books are not friendly to persons living with disability. But the religious people have really done a lot. The Catholic Church has really done a lot to persons living with disability. The Islamic community has done a lot to persons living with disability. But can we have talks? Can we have a reality check on what is happening in the ground? Because discrimination iko sana. If the church can be able to take lead and talk about this. We're having churches who have spaces for children who are differently abled. We have some that have even sensory rooms for those children who have neurological development disorders. Some of them need a place where they can rest. They can listen to maybe some cool music and a lot of things, even therapy. They also even have caregivers who can actually take care of your child when you're in when you're attending church. So if this can be able to start from the church. And also I would wish to also mention most of the parents, the first place they run to is church.
Yes.
All those religious,
most communities.
You'd find anytime when the first thing you're told, if your child will have to live differently, you say easy nlana. You go to pastor, you go to your sheikh, you go to and tell them niombe. If this pastor would tell you now, this is normal.
Yes.
You have to just look for help, therapy. You have to look for this and this. I think they can also be integrated in this space to enable parents or caregivers to be able to actually get more courage in actually coming out and even saying, I'm proudly taking care of a child with special needs. Because I think that is something we need to actually encourage more people to come out and just ensure that you're fighting for their space. Because I think that is everything. Every child, every parent's primary work is to ensure that their child are equipped for the future. Because if people didn't take care of us, we wouldn't be in these spaces. So we need to actually take care of those who are even differently able to ensure that they claim their space in society.
Wow. Mr. David Karani, thank you so much for just, first of all, the work that you are doing with the community and just, your labor of love, because I know it's quite the task right there. And it takes a Kenyan like you, to be able to see that we are progressive towards the right towards the right direction. So thank you for the privilege of your time and for coming on Power Radio. And we would definitely want to have you back.
Thank you for the time. Thank you for hosting.
Yeah, thank you for coming. And we would
and
love to see.
And also thank you for actually remembering persons living with disability.
Yes, it is our mandate. It's our mandate.
And I want to call out people. Wananchi.
Yes, Wananchi.
Caregivers.
Yes.
The sick. Wale wote tunahitaji sisi maskini wale tunahitaji hospitali ya umma tujitokeze ili tuambie serikali waache kiburi wakae chini hakuna mashindano pesa yetu ni pesa yetu hiyo wacha kukua mgumu na pesa yetu pea madaktari pesa.
There you have it, folks. That's all the time we had that's all the time we had in discussing these important matters. Of course, it's a discussion that only continues. It cannot end here. One show is not enough to have that conversation. Yes, but it's quite clear from this conversation we've seen that inclusion and the rights of peoples living with disabilities has to be cultural, it has to be religious, it has to be political, has to be social, and it also has to be economic. What we do with this information is all upon us. My name is Wanyoike. I have been your host for today. At 11 a.m., you want to catch the beautiful Mudhoni Gitao on the She Talks show as she discusses the yummy things that she always discusses. But for me and everybody who has made this broadcast possible, we just want to say thank you, see you, and keep it right here on Power Radio. Me, I'm out.
Power Radio. Power up.
On me throw me came across this island girl. Love child on the case. So we went back to the studio. Chimney Records. Hey, Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Yeah. Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Nikupeleke hadi Kenya. Come back home. Nikupeleke hadi Kenya. Come back home. Complete is the way that me feel anytime you look at me. Me no want to try come out of this island. Been around and seen a lot of gal around AI, but none of them still caught me eye. See you that I want and I need in my life, AI. Me want to show you bit of me culture, so let me take you to a country that me call me on. Down in East Africa, Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Yeah. Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Nikupeleke hadi Kenya. Come back home. Nikupeleke hadi Kenya. Come back home. Me want to take you to a town called Nairobi. Take you on Panama tattoo the whole day. Take you to me family so that you know me. Make we eat that yama choma the whole day. Baby, come in on me yard. Let me show you how me want. Treat you from the start. Remember that? So let me take you to a country that me call me yard. Down in East Africa, Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Yeah. Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Nikupeleke hadi Kenya. Come back home. Nikupeleke hadi Kenya. Come back home. You don't need to think twice about it. No need to think twice, think twice. There's a first time for everything. First time for everything. Trust my words when I say I'ma treat you like royalty. Let me take you to the motherland. Let me treat you like a queen. Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Yeah. Kingston
Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Nikupeleke hadi Kenya. Come back home. Nikupeleke hadi Kenya. Come back home. Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Yeah. Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Nikupeleke hadi Kenya. Come back home. Nikupeleke hadi Kenya.